So to be clear, you stole the shoes off of this woman's dead sister's body. Mm-hmm. Then you went after the woman to try and kill her because some man that you had never met before told you that she was wicked. And when you saw her and she demanded the shoes that you stole, you actually killed her? Mm-hmm. No. No.
Dorothy, that's... Did you not think that maybe you had other options? I mean, why not just give her the shoes? I mean, she was a witch after all. She may well have been able to get you home if you had just started a conversation with her.
Okay. First of all, I didn't know the water was going to kill her. And second, I just wanted to go home. The man in the city said she was wicked. And that if I killed her, he'd send me home.
This has been enlightening. Let's just keep on going, shall we? How about you, miss? Would you like to tell us about your adventures?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Alice.
Hi, Alice. Tell us your story, Alice.
Well, it started when my sister and I were sitting by the stream near our home, and she was reading the most boring-looking book. Since she wasn't paying me any attention, I started looking around when I saw a rabbit go past. But it was the strangest thing. It was wearing a waistcoat and carrying a pocket watch.
That is strange, and that's coming from me.
I know. My sister was ignoring me, so I started following the rabbit. After a few minutes, he disappeared under this hedge, and when I looked, there was a huge rabbit hole. I leaned in, and that's when I fell.
Well, that must have been very frightening. Did you hurt yourself?
Not at all. I don't know how it happened, but I seemed to fall very slowly, and it felt like forever. Ooh, I swear I nearly fell asleep. But then I landed.
Oh, where did you land? Did you see the rabbit?
It was dark, and all I could see was a tunnel. That blasted rabbit was down there, and I tried to catch up with him. But by the time I came around the corner, he was gone. I did find a hall surrounded by doors, so I thought he must have gone through one of those.
Were you able to find the right door?
Eventually, there was a table with a key on it, and I could only find one door that the key fit. When I unlocked the door and looked through, I saw the most beautiful garden.
Oh, expand on that. Now, you must have found a way through the door, and your story would end right there.
Actually, I ran into some complications. It's very rude to leave sitting doors open, you know. So, after I looked through it, I closed it up again and went round the hole to see if I could find some other way to get to the garden. I spotted a bottle on the table with a little sign on it that said, "Drink me!" It wasn't there before, so of course I was suspicious, but I examined it and found no marks to indicate poison.
Please don't tell me you drank that.
Of course I did! There wasn't any other way out of that hole, and I really wanted to see the garden.
Now, Alice, I understand your desire not to stay put, but that was very dangerous. If someone wanted to poison you, they would not write poison on their label.
Well, I know that now!
That you know that now. Please continue.
Well, after drinking, I then grew too small to open the door. Fortunately, when I looked around a little more, I saw a cake on the ground that said, "Eat me!" So I ate some of that.
Really? Really now?
Yes, really!
But how did you know that was not poison?
Oh, come now. Who poisons cake?
You'd be surprised.
Oh! Can I please finish my story now, if it's not too much trouble? So after eating the cake, I then grew too big, which left me very unhappy, you see. So I began crying. And I cried so much that I had to, the tears I cried flooded the hallway, and I had to swim through a river of my own tears. No, not a metaphor. An actual river of my own tears, and Michael Phelps would have been proud of me. Found a fan in the and holding on to it seemed to shrink me back to a more agreeable size. Some animals had unfortunately been caught along in my flood as well. After drying ourselves off on the bank of the river, I made casual conversation with them, mainly about my cat and her ferocious eating habits. Meow, 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 meow. They ran off at that. In hindsight, I suppose I could have chosen a better topic to break the ice. Sometime after that, I came across a caterpillar, and he was smoking a hookah. Hookah of all things. He was sitting on a mushroom, and he said, if I ate from one side of the mushroom, I would grow taller. And if I ate from the other side of the mushroom, I would grow shorter. So I ate from one side, and then I ate from the other. And I grow taller, and I grow shorter. And I grow all the way around, and I do that, and I go tall and short, and it was so much fun.
Alice, is there any history of substance abuse in your family? No reason, just idle curiosity. Please continue.
So then I came upon a tea party, which normally would be quite lovely, but was in fact really frustrating. They kept talking nonsense and asking me questions I didn't know the answer to, like, why is a raven like a writing desk? Do you know the answer?
Edgar Allan Poe wrote on both, I suppose.
Oh. Well, I'm not familiar with that writer. Is he new?
Not as such, no.
Anyway, I soon grew tired of their games and got involved with an odd form of croquet, played with flamingos and hedgehogs.
That sounds amazing. Who won, the flamingos or the hedgehogs?
When I say played with, I mean that quite literally. The flamingos were the croquet mallets, and the hedgehogs were the balls.
No. Alice, that sounds rather inhumane. Did that bother you at all?
Not at all. The Queen of Hearts demanded it. She was quite stubborn and quite fearsome, and she would scream to have people's heads lopped off at the slightest offense. And I didn't feel that I could refuse, honestly. I prefer to keep my pretty head where it is.
So this was all under duress. That must have been very frightening.
It was! And soon I was called as a witness to a trial. Apparently, the knave of hearts was accused of stealing the queen's stuff.
Ha! That's not a crime. Me and the Lost Boys used to steal pies all the time. Not a holiday pie.
Apparently the queen felt there was, and as I didn't see anything, I didn't feel it. I made a very good witness. And also I began growling again, which caused a bit of a spur. And then the queen called for my head as well. And everyone began attacking me. When I called them out for being nothing but a bunch of playing cards.
broken me. So it was all a dream?
No! I mean, I suppose it could have been, but it seemed so real.
I know just how you feel.
Oh, you know, there are sometimes overlaps in the experiences of participants in groups like this. Very well. Let's just keep going. I suppose it's your turn. Can you tell your story?
Hi, I'm Jim. So, me and my mom, we kept an inn. A while back, we had a tenant who had a few run-ins with some rough blokes.
Now, what sort of rough blokes? Did you ever see any of them, or did you just take him at his word that he was in trouble?
No. I met two of them, actually. The second one was really something. He was a blind fellow. I tried to fight him off, but he was a tough old bird.
Now you couldn't fight off a blind man, really?
Now, Peter, what did we say earlier? Violence is always a last resort and should never be used against someone who is disabled and cannot defend themselves.
Oh, no. He could defend himself all right. He nearly tore my arm off to get his moment with our tenant. A little while after the blind man came to visit, our tenant died in his sleep. So me and my mum, we went through his things.
Wait! You went through a dead man's things?
Hey, back off!
He owed us money. Goodness did we find it. But that's not all. We also found a map to a treasure. Turns out that the man who had been staying with us was a pirate. So while me and my mum were still going through his personal effects, a few of his old shipmates turned up. So we fled and we went to go see the district squire. He's the one who owns the land that we live on. The squire got this idea to get a ship together and go after the treasure ourselves.
So, just so I understand correctly, your landlord and a few other people decided to go on a boat to go after the possessions of a deceased criminal of property you had no legal right to.
Well, I suppose, but it's not like pirates have a next of kin or a will, right?
And your mother allowed this to happen? Or you didn't think maybe it was dangerous?
I didn't think about it like that before.
No, that's so dangerous. A map to a pirate's treasure? That sounds like a grand adventure!
Can you not?
Exactly. Well, at least that is what I thought at first. On the journey, I became friends with the ship's cook, a man by the name of Long John Silver.
Sounds like a nice enough fellow.
You would think that, would you not? Turns out that Long John was a pirate too, not the only one on board. Well, we got to the island where the treasure was buried, and after going ashore, the pirates killed anybody who refused to mutiny. But I escaped, and I ran into a castaway named Ben, who agreed to help us in exchange for a trip home. Turns out that Ben had been part of the crew who buried the treasure on the island to begin with. Only he'd been left behind. Poor fellow. We did catch up with the squire and the rest of the crew on the island. They fought back against Silver, but Silver made to surrender. But Trelawney, that's the squire, he refused. So I escaped again. I cut the ship's line and I let her loose.
Wait, you cut loose your ship? Your only way home?
I thought it was a good idea at the time. I